Hello, Loris. Okay, spatial meeting, do we still have our, we don't have the pledge and so forth on the agenda. So, we'll call the meeting to order. This is a spatial meeting, with one agenda item: discuss and or act on consideration of allowing variances to the ordinance as it now stands, that's 7-404, as it relates to recreational vehicles. So the first item of business this evening, this is the first time I've ever done 3 votes in one agenda item, but that's the way that Council has suggested that we pick this apart, because the number one vote needs, and this is what I tried to do the last time, by the way, is to vote first of all, are we going to allow proceeding with variances as it applies to the ordinance that I just stated, 7-404. Can I make a motion, Bob?
Yes, sir.
Well, I would like to make the motion this evening that we discuss and or act on consideration of this variance. So that's my motion, and I'd like to hear a second. Having been moved and seconded, is there any further discussion?
Which variance are you talking about? There's 3 different variances.
Well, but we have to, are we going to do any of these? That's the question.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
You evidently have a motion.
Yes.
And a second.
That's correct.
For proceeding with the variance.
That's correct.
I just want to make sure that, since I am not present, that a head count, voice count, with the voting occur, so that I know how the vote is going.
All right. All right, we have a motion that has been moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion,
I have discussion. I don't understand the motion.
I don't either.
Oh my goodness. You don't understand what a variance is?
I do, but I don't understand the
We have 3
motion.
different variances here to consider.
That's correct. And are we, the question is on the table, are we going to consider 1, 2, 3, or none? That's the question.
With all due respect, Mayor, that was not your motion. Your motion was merely a restatement of the issue as the issue was identified. You said you moved to discuss this. That's why you're here.
That's why we're here.
So your motion needs, as I explained, your initial motion needs to be, somebody needs to move to allow variances, or someone needs to move not to allow variances.
Well, I've been trying to do that for 2 meetings now.
I would like to make a motion.
What are we going to do with it? Now, here's where we went
We
at
have a
the
motion
other
on the
meeting.
floor.
We had a motion on the floor.
We have an improper motion on the floor because that's your agenda item, with all due respect. And your motion was to do what your agenda item said.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
As I understand it, that the motion is to nothing more than to proceed with the variance.
No.
Negative votes by council members means we do not discuss it at all and leave it alone.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Your motion was to discuss the variances. That's what you said. That's your agenda item already. That's not a valid motion.
All right. All right. So we are going to, the discussion will be, if I get this right here in a moment.
You've opened that issue. You have begun item number 1.
Well, and Ms. Helton just asked me what we were voting on.
Well, you need a motion. motion to yes or a motion to no?
What we need to do with this motion is move forward.
And then if the motion is not to allow variances, there is a second and more than, let's see, you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. If you have 3 people that vote yes in favor of a motion for no, the meeting's over. You're done. Your agenda item's done, there'll be no variances. Alternatively, if the motion is to allow variances, and there's a second, and 3 people or more vote in favor of that, then you're through step 1. You will allow variances. Then I believe you need to move to step 2, because you've been asked to allow you've been asked to allow 3 different types for campgrounds, for privately owned lots, and for what I call the dilapidated lots, or lots of dilapidated structures. So at that point, someone needs to move, if you get this far, someone needs to move that you allow all 3, that you allow 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, any combination of those, or just one of them. If you get past that, then I believe you need to have a motion to adopt under what condition. And I set forth the conditions that have been discussed, 8 of them, and it can be 1 or none or all 8 or whatever. But you have to go through that. I believe you have to go through that series to get to this issue.
So we need to make a motion.
Well, I would like to make a motion.
To the ordinance.
But we have a motion on the floor right now.
But it's an invalid motion.
It's an invalid motion, so we can start over again. Go ahead,
You
Scott.
can withdraw it.
I make a motion that we allow variance to the ordinance for the RV, for the.
Pardon me, I have to make a motion before he did.
Here we go. Go ahead, BJ.
I would like to make a motion that ordinance 7-404 stand as it is written with its amendment that was passed in 2011 and no variances be granted.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Please repeat the motion.
Okay, I move that ordinance 7-404, which is the house trailer mobile home ordinance, with its amendment, which was passed on August 11th, 2010, be allowed to stand as is written with no variances granted.
Okay, that's, okay, well, I thought that, that would have been covered in, the motion from Scott. If the motion as he presented it has a majority of negative votes, that's it.
But now we've got a separate motion, Norris, so let's don't confuse
You
Scott.
can only have one motion on the floor tonight.
All right, is there a second to BJ's motion?
I think you need to go with the first motion.
Well, it's already been,
He's talking about Scott's motion.
well, we have to handle this one first. Is anyone going to second BJ's motion? Hearing no second, the motion is, tabled.
Dies for
Dies for lack
second.
of a second, okay. Now, do I hear a motion to consider, to discuss and or act on consideration of allowing variances to ordinance 7-404 as relates to recreational vehicles?
No, I'm sorry, Mayor, that's what you did initially. You need a motion,
Look at the agenda, what's the agenda item say? I'm just reading what's on the agenda.
Right, but that's just what you're discussing, not your motion. Your motion, you've had a motion now not to allow, then conversely, you should have a motion to allow.
Don't use the word
That would be-
discuss.
Yeah, but that would be Scott's motion. The mayor wasn't making a motion, he just said, do I have a motion for? So, he asked a question.
Mayor,
Yeah, I make a
Scott's-
motion to allow, allow variance to ordinance 7-404.
I'll second it.
Now, having been moved and seconded, is there further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Get vote, please.
Okay.
All right,
Then call the roll and get the vote.
yes. BJ will call the roll and get the vote.
Scott?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Nora?
Yes.
BJ? No.
Madam President?
Adam is not present, no.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
You have a vote.
Okay.
Proceed.
And now, step two, as I understand, what was explained, is that we consider one or more of the types of variance as it pertains to number one, a designated RV campground. Number two would be privately owned lots. And number three would be lots with dilapidated structures. So we can consider 1, 2, 1 or 2 or 3, or any combination thereof.
Question, please.
Say it again.
Question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Under the three variances. What would,
And you do have a copy of the notes in front of
I'm
you.
looking at the paperwork.
And by the way, audience, there's other topics here, by the way. It's been prepared for you. I'm sorry I didn't explain that.
Hopefully it's the same thing.
It is. It's indeed the same thing you're looking at.
Yeah, okay. My question certainly is, number one, I apologize. What would designate the difference between number three and number two?
Between
Are you
numbers,
looking at,
well,
are you
but,
looking at special considerations on lots that have dilapidated structures on them currently?
number three and number two's difference is, a privately owned lot may not have a structure at this time. So that's
Yeah,
something,
well, okay, that's okay, whether it does or does not. Does that make a difference?
yes, it will. I think that we've separated it because that is a significant difference, two parts of town. But it could not, it should not be, identified as the same as some of the structures that has either, insufficient, properties, houses, that would not pass an inspection for a certificate of occupancy, or in fact may be a structure that has not had anyone in it for years, that's maybe falling down already, windows knocked out, roofs falling in, that type of thing. So that's a set aside for that.
But the way I understand it is, if you don't have a house on a lot, you get in for a variance.
That's the privately owned lot. Yes.
Okay, so if they tear his house down, I still don't see the difference. If they tear
Well,
it down, it's an empty lot.
But it achieves two different purposes. The only reason that, item number 2 is brought into play at all is, what's the legal term? Help me, Bob, that we don't,
No, number 2 is on there because Randy Sharp brought it up.
well, but we cannot discriminate. We can't write something in that's discriminatory against, to use a language that eliminates somebody, okay?
Well, yes, but the reason number 2 is on there, number 1 is on there, campgrounds, because Randy Sharp and Brian Tankersley have asked for that. And number 2 is on there because Randy Sharp asked for that. Number 3 is on